UPS Teamsters are rallying for better benefits in the midst of negotiations for a new labor contract. If an agreement isn't made in the next week, this could directly affect you and your timing of deliveries. Two rallies took place this morning, one at the Louisville Centennial Hub, the other at UPS Worldport.
This was all for practice at this point. You've been seeing those practice picket lines by local UPS workers over the past few weeks. Today was not a strike. Workers say that will come later if a new contract is not agreed on by Monday, July 31st. Teamsters officials used this morning's rallies as a chance to give everyone a status report on the negotiations. Officials with the Teamsters say that when UPS walked away from the table, the deal was already 90% done. That was on the 5th of July. There were just a few points to iron out, one of them being pay for part-time workers.
They said, well, we just don't have any more money to give. Well, UPS is a very rich and prosperous company. They got plenty of money. And the reason why they have that money is because of the work off our members' backs.
It's just really frustrating because I am a part-timer. Yes, I have a second job, absolutely, Of course, I'm here for the benefits, a lot of us are. But I still bring some numbers to the table, and I have integrity.
UPS did send out a statement earlier today saying they have made steady progress with the Teamsters on a wide array of issues. They acknowledged the rally and said that they plan to expect to reach an agreement before this contract runs out.
And with every day that goes by, small businesses who rely on UPS Worldport are feeling anxious at the thought of that slowed service.
WHAS11's Isaiah Kim Martinez and former journalist Emma Gefter talked to Louisville restaurants, boutiques, and even hospitals today, asking them what impact a Teamsters strike could have on them.
Small businesses here in Louisville, like the Seafood Lady, are watching the UPS negotiations very closely, knowing full well what's at stake if terms for a new contract aren't met by the end of the month. The Seafood Lady in New Lou continues to overcome major hurdles, already fighting through the heat of the pandemic, and in early 2022, 3 people shooting through one of their restaurant windows.
We're doing pretty good. We're coming back around. It's not amazing, but we are grateful to still be here and still in the fight for the next day.
Now comes the next obstacle.
We don't need another disruption of our food line.
It's the potential ripple effect a UPS union worker strike would have on their business and their livelihoods.
Right now we rely on UPS for about 40% of our products. We get in our oysters, our lobsters, and our crawfish fresh. If we can't get that in daily, it's going to cause a lot of problems for us.
Restaurant owner Nichelle Thurston tells me a halt in quick shipments would be detrimental for a menu so dependent on seafood that must be shipped from out of state quickly.
I would like to see it settle for all parties involved and let it be something that's amicable so that everybody is happy and satisfied. Like I said, the restaurant industry has been through so much, and the last thing that we need here in Louisville is another strike.
Over on Main Street, Momily, a locally owned boutique, told me off camera they're worried they start getting their fall and Christmas merchandise this month to have them ready by those seasons. Meanwhile, hospitals like Norton Healthcare that supply vaccines say they have contingency plans in place if UPS and its union don't come to terms on a deal by July's end.
Just some good fortune for a year or two to get back on our feet.
And folks like Thurston are crossing their fingers, hoping a deal is made prior to that date. In Louisville, Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 on your side.
And several of those small businesses tell us this time of year is often their busiest, which is certainly adding to the urgency of getting that deal done.
More local news tonight at 5, from crime scene response to hospital stays to incarceration. Louisville's gun violence epidemic certainly comes at a cost.
Friday, the Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods detailed exactly that in a report on the economic impacts of gun violence. Grace McKenna is actually breaking down those numbers today. Grace, what did you learn?
Well, Shay, we know already this year LMPD has responded to about 90 homicides and 250 non-fatal shootings. So if you take the numbers from that Ocean and NICJR report, that means the shootings and homicides this year have cost Louisville more than $200 million. According to the report, each homicide in the city costs about $934,000. Each non-fatal shooting a little over $500,000. On average, the city spends about $108 million a year just on homicides. Hospital stays, incarcerations, and criminal justice proceedings are among the costliest factors. I spoke to Deputy Mayor David James today about the report. He says those dollars would be better spent on violence prevention.
The more violence that we can stop ahead of time before it actually happens, the less it costs all of us, whether you're talking about economically, socially, or just the way it makes us feel in our community.
To the report, if Louisville could reduce gun violence by 20%, it would save the city more than $85 million a year. James says the Greenberg administration's anti-violence proposals in this year's budget took the cost of gun violence into account and adds group and gang violence prevention efforts have to be a top priority. We do want to note the cost of gun violence appears to be rising. A version of the report from 2021, which WHAS11 reported on, showed homicides at a cost of just over $900,000. In the studio, Grace McKenna, WHAS 11 on your side.
All right, Grace, thank you very much. New today, LMPD has made an arrest in a double homicide from last year. It happened on June 30th at the Oxmoor apartment complex. That's right near Topgolf in Oxmoor Mall. Police found two men, Stephen Curtis and Gary Brown Jr., with fatal gunshot wounds. LMPD's homicide unit used DNA evidence and surveillance video to identify the suspect in the case. They haven't named the person charged because at the time of the crime, they were a minor.
Also new tonight, a man is in custody accused of trying to kill Metro police officers right here in Louisville. Davion Cromartie was arrested on Friday. According to his arrest report, which we obtained, his girlfriend called police because he refused to leave her apartment in Old Louisville at 3rd and Hill Streets. Police say that he fought back when they tried to handcuff him, saying that he was able to wrap his legs around the officer's neck, strangling him. It goes on to say that when a second police officer tried to help, Cromartie's girlfriend allegedly jumped on her, trying to disarm her. Officers say Cromartie tried to take the officer's gun. He was eventually arrested when officers found him trying to return to the apartment. He's charged with attempted murder of an officer and assault. The Democratic ticket for Kentucky governor will stay the same. Today, the current Lieutenant Governor, Jacqueline Coleman, officially filed for re-election. She, of course, is joining the incumbent governor, Andy Beshear, in hopes of continuing their administration in the fall. The Lieutenant Governor is in the second in command to the governor. Before becoming Lieutenant Governor, Coleman was an educator. She worked as a teacher and assistant principal in Nelson County. Tomorrow, we've learned that the Republican gubernatorial nominee, Attorney General Daniel Cameron, is expected to announce his lieutenant governor pick. That news conference is at 9:30 tomorrow morning.
The city of Louisville invited various service providers to tour the site of the proposed community campus today. They also told them there's no money set aside specifically for the project. The city wants to turn one block in the Smoketown neighborhood into a hub for homeless outreach services. About 8 organizations attended today, including Norton Healthcare, Addiction Recovery Care, and Volunteers of America. Some of these buildings were in use in April as hotels or laundry facilities. One organization told us there is potential, but funding's a huge barrier.
I think the opportunity is absolutely there, but to be frank, this is a big project. There's multiple big buildings. I don't think as an organization of our size, privately and publicly, we can handle that ourselves.
Detron there came up with the idea that all 8 of the service providers should submit one response to the city's RFP together to maximize their potential. The RFP is open until August 11th.